Grenfell should never have happened. And we all know why it did happen, because it had this flammable cladding. Well, I'm born and raised on the same estate as Grenfell Tower, and I've been a firefighter for almost 16 years.
I saw on the day firefighters do more than I've ever seen. The commitment and bravery that they showed was second to none, and firefighters in London share the grief felt by the community.
I was a resident of Grenfell Tower, got rescued, and then sadly my wife passed away several months later, and she's number 72 of the Grenfell tragedy. My feelings when I see the tower now, sometimes overwhelming, actually quite emotional when I see it. It's all wrapped up. You know, I lived there for 33 years and the feelings of loss is massive. 71 of my friends and neighbours died in that tower, and it was home to me. That feeling isn't going to go away, but it's now part of me. It shows us as a society what can go terribly wrong if we don't care.
Firefighters feel quite angry that we're still 3 years down the line, have no real action by the government. And I think government inaction, especially around sort of 2004 Reform Act and the Fire Service Act being ripped up, made it easier for developers to cut corners. This is one of the tower blocks near where I grew up. Similar layout to Grenfell Tower, built around a similar time. I'm sure for firefighters that are coming to do inspections on blocks like this, it must bring back memories and feelings that they experienced on the night.
I feel that the government are protecting the companies responsible for erecting the cladding. It seems like it's them before families who've lost lives.
My understanding of why the fire was so bad, it was years and years of neglect. You know, it was profit over people, really. It's just a catalogue of failures. People didn't really care about health and safety, about people who lived in high-rise buildings or on council estates.
There's thousands of residents living in high-rises with cladding. Some of these high-rises have 24-hour security on them now because of the cladding.
I feel so angry. Those poor people who have to sleep in those tower blocks. We need to take action now. You know, there's 9 tower blocks in Salford. Every night they got to sleep with that cladding.
About 2.5 years ago, residents were trying to get mortgage applications on the build and trying to buy and sell, and were really struggling. At that point, we went to our building managers to ask if we could get a copy of the fire safety report, and it was at that stage that we found out a survey had been done and that we did have some flammable cladding material on the building, which made it unsafe and unable to sell. If you get a survey done because of the cladding, it will bring back a £0 valuation.
And we've all witnessed how many lives could be lost by a building fire of that magnitude. So any other buildings out there that is wrapped in cladding needs to be removed now. We shouldn't have to sign up to go into buildings that are unsafe, that could be made safe just by a tick of a pen.
Profit over people has made unsafe homes all around the country, and it's got to stop because we can't have Grenfell 2.
We've been told by the fire brigade that if a fire is to break out in our building, that the cladding will actually promote the spread of fire. And that's petrifying because I live up on the 8th floor, so just personally, if the fire alarm goes off, my legs turn to jelly.
The cladding is lethal, so in blocks where this cladding still exists, we're very, very acutely aware that a fire similar to Grenfell could happen.
In February, we had a full building evacuation, and as we were going down the fire escape stairs and you're making your way out, you can smell smoke. You're thinking, is this it? Am I gonna get out?
Playing with people's lives, because people are anxious living in these high rises now, which makes it more important that we keep knocking on the doors at the government to force change.
We need to know that those that are culpable are accountable for their action, and we need to know that it won't happen again.
They were never fit for purpose. These buildings were signed off and allowed to be built unsafe, and it's meant that people have unfortunately lost their lives and still live unsafe today.
The fire service is and belongs to the community. We need to come together as a society and remember the 72 people that died and the community they left behind. We need to ensure that those lives were not lost in vain and that the fight for justice goes on.